October 30th, 2020 is a really significant day in the history of the New York Mets. And, we've watched over the years, the Dodgers, since they have had this huge infusion of capital with their new ownership and crosstown. Mets fans should be pretty excited on this day.
Look, the Mets, in many ways, have always been the little brother to the Yankees in this town. The Mets are the Clippers, they're the White Sox, they're the Angels. And what Steve Cohen wants to create is the East Coast Dodgers. There already is an East Coast Dodgers. They're called the New York Yankees. So it'll be awfully interesting to follow baseball in this town when you have that level of ambition coming from the Bronx and Queens going forward. And look, it's, again, you mentioned the Dodgers. It's about targeted spending. Back to the point that everyone, Steve and Jim, have both made on this broadcast. The Dodgers, it took them years to finally find their Mookie Betts and give him that huge contract. So that's not to expect that Steve Cohen and Sandy Alderson are going to necessarily go out and do something like that next week. But it means that they're going to strike when they want to, and in the meantime, they're going to build up this whole infrastructure of an organization that mirrors those other teams like the Dodgers that you mentioned.
I think you're right about that, and Jim made the point as well, and Steve as well. It's making the right moves. Let's not forget, the Wilpons, they spent a lot of money on you. They brought Yoenis Cespedes here. Sandy did, paid them a lot of money. It paid off for a short period of time. They went to the World Series in 2015, in 2016. So it's not just me, and that was a terrific move that ended up coming to fruition and working out well for them. So it's not just making moves, it's making the right moves. And that's infrastructure right there.
And as Jim said, that's what Sandy Alderson is there for. This is a guy that Steve Cohen can trust to make wise, prudent, right moves. And Sandy likes to splash. Look, Sandy was the guy that ran the Bash Brothers 30 years ago.
Right.
I had that poster in my room when I was a kid. That was a splash. He knows how to go big when it's time to go big. But as we saw from his first tenure with the Mets, he knew when that time was. Sandy went all in 2015. He didn't go all in before that because he knew when it was time. So that's what Steve Cohen has, is the judgment of a seasoned executive.
And so that is going to wrap up our breaking news coverage here on SNY. Again, Major League Baseball owners have voted to approve Steve Cohen as the new owner of the New York Mets, and the mayor's office has now signed off on it as well.